Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. Whee! We're going on rides. Whee! We are taking a trip today on to Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Euro, I guess.
Euro
the theme
Disney?
parks. Ew. Is that still a thing?
I thought it was Disney Paris.
Disney Paris now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where all the Mickeys are really rude to you when you ask for something?
It's
Only in
Disney.
English.
It's Disney Paris.
And they smoke.
Oh.
The Mickeys.
Yeah.
Noir.
You've just taken all the magic out of Disneyland. Wow. I am Dub. I'm here today with Christina. I'm here with Skeeter. And we're here with John from California. Yeah, he had to walk all the way from California. That's why I hadn't been on for so long, because that's a long walk to get on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long walk from here.
Yeah. It's just one of those days. Okay, so let's kind of just jump into this. Today we're talking all things Disneyland, Disney World. Me personally, I've never been to Disney World, so it's all Disneyland for me. And
Same
I've
here.
been a long
Me either.
time. I haven't been since I still haven't seen Galaxy's Edge yet. I
The
know
last time you were there, I think we've met you guys at a restaurant nearby.
I know it's a fact you did. That was like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, a long time ago. So
Wow.
In a galaxy far away.
you know, I want to hit this right away, John. You've been there quite a bit. How is the Galaxy's Edge? Can you tell us about that real quick? Because this is the thing that most excites me, is the best new thing about Disneyland. Tell us about Galaxy's Edge. How does it all work?
Galaxy's Edge is probably like the most interesting part of Disneyland right now, because it is the one park where the employees are basically allowed to have their own character. So they can be a grumpy like salesperson working at one of the shops. I've seen the photographers be kind of just like, all right, hurry up, move along, like that kind of stuff. It's great. Like they can do whatever they want. It's really, especially at night, that's the best time to go, is at night, because they have it lit up the way that they want you to see it. And it's so beautiful. Honestly, we went the first time in 2019, and when I walked in and saw a real life size X-Wing fighter, I started to tear up. No lie.
You know what? I've heard that a lot. That it is like it's your childhood coming
exactly.
to life. Boom.
And then when there's this part where you like walk around a corner to get to where the Millennium Falcon is. It's even cooler. Like you just walk up and you're like, oh my God, this is my childhood. You know, like it come to life. They have like a real life Chewbacca that like walks around.
Real life.
Well, you know, but like life size Chewbacca. The dude's tall. So like they've got a life size Chewbacca walking around, like the Millennium Falcon. Before COVID, they used to have stormtroopers that would just randomly walk around in like amongst like the people at the park. And would like, you know, interact with you, tell you to move it along, or are you the spy we're looking for, stuff like that. It was pretty cool. But it's got one of the best rides I think that Disneyland's ever had. And that's Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance.
So what is it?
So
I'm sorry I'm asking all these questions. I know it's
no. It's all good, dude.
We'll
like
move on in a minute, but I'm just really
it's basically like, so there's like three parts to the ride. There's the, you know, like once you go through like the initial line, you get in this like transport ship because you're trying to hurry up and get off this base because the First Order's attacking. And it's kind of like you go inside this deal that you move around like you're getting like trying to get off the planet, and then you get caught in a tractor beam. Get caught in the tractor beam, get pulled into a Star Destroyer, and when you open you literally go inside the transport ship, and it's like normal outside like Disneyland. When you get when the doors open after you get pulled into the Star Destroyer, you're inside a Star Destroyer ship, like set like yeah. Thank you. At least I didn't say doo-doo, right?
Exactly.
But you're actually inside like a Star Destroyer set. Like there's all these like stormtroopers, like they're animatronic stormtroopers, but there's like all these stormtroopers, and all the employees are dressed up as First Order officers, and they're telling you to move along. They put you in a jail cell, essentially, or a holding cell, and then the Resistance breaks you out of the cell, and then puts you in these like carts, and you're moving around like inside the Star Destroyer trying to get out. Kylo Ren's attack trying to get you.
Visual,
like it's really
like
cool.
Star Tours, or is it like a ride?
It's more than that, like because it's like you're so the first part's more like Star Tours, where you go inside something, you're just kind of like, oh, like going around in this thing, it makes you feel like you're in a spaceship. But then after that, you go inside like a cart that's moving around like a ride. Like it's kind of like they took I think the best way to put it is like if they took like one of their like rides like Roger Rabbit or something like that, and they have, but it's not on like a track.
Gotcha.
It's like they move around like on the floor without a track, but like there's all kinds of cool stuff to it. It's probably like one of the most like impressive rides that they've ever had.
Yeah, this is the reason why I want to go back to Disneyland more than anything else, because I want to see it so bad. And I'll go to Universal Studios too. On a side note, because I want to go to Harry Potter World, and I think they have a Marvel World in there or something. Or is that
They have the Avengers Campus at California Adventure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on from that, since none of the rest of us have anything to say on that. So let me ask everybody this question first. What is your first memory of Disneyland / Disney World? Let's start with Christina.
I was 16 the first time I went to Disneyland. I moved from Oregon to California. And the first thing I did was I went to Disneyland, and this is back in my day. So it's like the 80s, the essential.
So your hair was huge. I got you.
My hair was huge. I actually worked there. I actually performed there. I did. And somewhere Sean found the video. He's trying to find it again. I actually danced in the Totally Mini Parade, and I used to perform every Christmas. So,
and are you?
I thought you knew that.
I remember hearing that now. Yeah.
It's one of those things that'll be stuck in my brain for life. I still know that it's many.
You are going to put that up on the website when you find it, right?
Yes, Sean said he will find it again.
Outstanding.
So I almost did my hair 80s to honor my
you
first
always
experience.
Do your hair 80s, so let's be honest. You're always a step away because you're in your 80s. Oh, I'm kidding. I love it,
Charlie, that really hurts.
I bit you that time. Skeeter, what is your first memory?
So first memory, first trip was about 5. First like real memory, about 7-ish, just the real magic, the parking lot. Getting on the tram from the parking lot to the front gates. It wasn't, this whole different thing that it is now. And then like getting to the front gates, walking through that first tunnel. I've performed at Disney. I think you did too, for Magic Music Days.
Yep, for choir.
Both Dub and I performed when we were in high school at Disney. It was pretty awesome. But we, a lot of different memories over the past, oh my gosh, I don't know how many years. And they're all in my living room.
Nice.
Scary.
Wow.
John, what was your first memory?
I don't necessarily have like a first memory, because like I grew up in Southern California, so we've been going like pretty much my whole life. Like I'm spoiled, I know, but like I grew up like 45 minutes away, and we'd go at least 2 to 3 times a year. And then like in middle school we had passes, so like we would almost go every Friday as a family. Like just back when passes were only $100.
Like waterworks.
Yeah. It was awesome though. Like just I just remember like, finally being able to like go on Space Mountain because I was tall enough. Like, yeah, we've gone there.
I was 19, John. I was 19.
When you first got tall enough?
Yes, I was very short until
John was born at 6'2", so I mean, it's one of those things too. If you haven't seen John up close, he's a tall dude. So, yeah.
Well, everything's tall when you're that short, Wendell. So
shut up.
Oh,
when you can barely reach the top shelf. I still have to get stuff from the top shelf for Wendell.
I'm happy with who I am. It's all good. So my first memory with Star Wars with Disneyland. Actually, I don't even know the time that I went, but the first time that I can really, just kind of put a solid memory is that's when I started getting into like my family crest, because they have a lady in there that still works there as far as I know.
Remember those.
She can look at you. You can tell her your last name. She can tell you what your coat of arms is, where it's from, every color in it, what everything means. And just off the top of her head, she is absolutely brilliant.
And you can get the printout.
My dad did that for us.
Yeah, we got that, and that's that's one of my tattoos at this point is because of this lady that was just such a fascinating learning experience that you don't think you're gonna connect with your own family history at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's freaking
Yeah.
Disneyland. Give me a break.
Right.
But it's incredible, and that's one of my favorite things. I still like to go by every time I go to Disneyland. I will still go over there. She's still there, as far as I know.
I haven't seen her. We've been
That
like
makes me sad.
We've been like 6 times since COVID, like since it reopened after COVID.
That was I was way before that. Yeah.
No, I remember her.
Yeah, Sean and I went to Disneyland for our honeymoon, and we got our coat of arms for each of us from her, and we still have them. So yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
The lady in the bridge.
Yeah, real nice lady too. Okay, so what is it that makes Disney parks special and so much different from any other theme park? I know everyone's got some ideas on why it's different, and we're gonna, of course, finish with John because he knows all these because he goes all the time. But what makes Disneyland World, Disney theme, let's call it just Disney theme parks, so much different and so special as compared to like your Magic Mountains or your Knott's Berry Farms or your State Fair or whatever? What makes it so special? Let's start with you, Skeeter.
Well, I mean, it's what brings you back. I mean, I've been going since 5 years old, pretty much as often as possible, to being a pass holder for almost 16 years with Griffin. It's what brings you in. It's the history, it's the magic, it's those things that you miss that no other park has. No other park has a story like Disneyland. The original. Like, nobody has this place that was this guy that traveled across, was an animator, and then took his kids to a park, to Griffith Park, and said, I'm going to sit on a bench and watch my kids, but now I want something for me. So when you walk through that first tunnel and you leave today and enter the worlds of tomorrow and yesterday and imagination, that's what it is. That's the complete difference from Disney to any other place ever, because they've done such a good job of hiding the outside world and putting you into a place that's completely different, and nobody else does that.
You can't see anywhere outside the world inside the park. Like, they block everything out.
Unless you're on the monorail and you're headed around.
Yeah, but that's different. Like that.
Yep.
But like, if you're walking anywhere inside the park, you cannot see Anaheim whatsoever
At all. Just helicopters and airplanes.
Yeah. Christina, what about you? What do you think makes it so special?
So Walt was incredibly deliberate. He was one of the first people to actually pump scent into the park to create a feeling, to create that feeling of excitement, imagination. There's this great story about there are so many garbage cans in Disney, and it takes the distance between the garbage can was how long it took him to eat a hot dog. So the steps. And so with that, he wanted to make sure that everything was as real as possible while still attaching your imagination. I mean, look at the Disneyland wave. I mean, we all know it. Like, if you're a Disney princess, it's elbow, elbow, wrist to wrist, fingers, fingers, blow a kiss. That's the Disneyland wave.
No, you don't point. It's
I did never point.
Yep, never point. I'm a little bitter. I actually auditioned for Snow White, but they told me I was too short. But I still love Disney. I've
It's okay. You were one of the 7 dwarfs later. It was okay.
They offered that, and I was like, no.
What about you, John? What do you think makes it so special?
Part of it's the cleanliness. Like, honestly, it's like probably one of the most. It's one of the, like, you don't see trash on the ground for too long. It's one of the cleanest, like, amusement parks ever.
No graffiti.
No graffiti. There's no, like, even in the bathroom, it's like you don't see like nobody's like scratched their name in crap or whatever. Like, it isn't like, I mean, I've been to Knott's Berry Farm and it's just horrible. Like, you almost get pat down going to Magic Mountain because of just like, you don't ever feel like you're possibly gonna, if you look at somebody the wrong way, you're gonna get like, shanked in line or something like that. Like that's magic.
I'd
Mike.
edit that, but it's true. That's
Oh my
absolutely true.
Yeah. No, but it's also just like they bring your childhood to life. Like, I mean, and if you grew up watching any of the Disney movies, you have, Fantasyland, or you've got Tomorrowland, which has Space Mountain and Star Tours. Like, there's just so many different things. A Buzz Lightyear ride. Like, they've just taken such a like all their properties and actually make it cohesive. You don't feel like, it doesn't feel like, like weird, like walking from one land to another. You don't feel like, oh, this like sudden like change in like everything. Like, it's a nice like transition between lands. Like,
Yeah.
and we've, like I said, I've been going for like years and years and years. And like, this is one of the things that like me and my wife, we just love coming back to. It doesn't matter. Like, one time when we first got married, it was so busy because we went like 2 days after Christmas. We just sat on a bench and played cards. We watched the parades, like, because there's no way we were getting on lines. Like, but it was great. Like, you go there and just hang out even.
Well, speaking of lines, that's another thing that's really magical is it is entertaining standing in a line at Disneyland. More so at California Adventure, I think they've perfected it a bit more. But I mean, I remember what was it? I think it was Captain EO and Star Tours, because it's in the same place. When you'd walk through that, the line, it was interesting. There was like stories going on as you waited in line. They did that at the Splash Mountain as well. I thought that was and it was just all anticipation. And that is something that just brilliant that they did, because they just built up your anticipation. So they made that 2-hour line that you're waiting in part of the 7-minute ride, so that you're enjoying it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And they overpromise and they under-promise, over-deliver. So if it's like a 20-minute wait, they're telling you it's a 40-minute wait. Yeah. So what you think is a 2-hour line ends up being an hour and a half, and you're thrilled.
Which is kind of interesting.
Sometimes it's dead on, but
yeah,
it is nice. Like, what was it when we were there the other day? It was like, the ride said like 40 minutes. And it was like, oh, it was like 20, 25 minutes. It was great.
Now, to tell you something I haven't liked is last time I went, they had California Adventure open, and I noticed a difference that they actually served beer. I don't care. We've done shows on booze. We don't. I drink, have fun, but there's something about Disney that it's clean and pristine.
Well, but that's only at California Adventure that you have.
But people are going back and forth, and it just changes. It changes the feel to me.
They always served it. But it used to be in the saloon, and that was the only place you could get it.
It was pretty well
hidden. In Frontierland.
Yeah, and as a kid, you didn't know it was there.
Yeah, that's true. Because you couldn't walk around with it, but
it was just different. It's just something that that's one thing I say. I'm not a prude by any stretch, but that's
true
something
story.
I just don't like.
Well, I was happy because the first thing that they had in there was Carl Strauss, and that's my favorite brewery.
But you can drink outside of Disneyland. I don't care, but that's just because I feel like that's part of everyone's a child here, treated as such, kind of.
Well, but that's the thing though. It's like California Adventure and Disneyland are two separate deals. Like, they made it that way kind of on purpose. Like, California Adventure was more the grown-up land. I feel like, and they did that from the get-go. Like, you have Disney's like first roller coaster with a loop. Like, you have
nothing upside down at Disneyland.
Yeah, and you don't have that. You don't have that at Disneyland, and it is more for like more recently they made it to be like a lot of their intellectual properties with like Pixar Pier and the Marvel's Avengers Campus. It used to be more about California. It's not as much anymore. Like, they don't even like the Soaring Over California isn't Soaring Over California anymore. It's Soaring Over the World. But like it was supposed to be kind of more like California theme. Like, you had the boardwalk, like by the beach, like that kind of deal.
Out on the sun, under the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But California, I think that was the thing that they wanted to do with California Adventure, was just kind of make it be like, yes, it's still Disneyland, but it's kind of like a different thing to it.
I get it. I'm not complaining, but that's just something me personally, I don't.
I remember right after California Adventure opened, I was working on all my Disney history stuff, and doing that because I was working on getting a job there while I was in college. I applied over 200 times to be some type of executive while I was in college. And I remember doing all my history checks and all those things. And I was reading about California Adventure, and they said, even Eisner said before Iger, he said this was the worst mistake we ever made. And they lost more money making California Adventure than they ever made in the beginning. And then it just started to it turned around when they started paying attention to the guests, and really started switching it up. So it got better, that's for sure. They opened Tower of Terror, they did the things. It did really well.
But they also destroyed one of my favorite memories of Disneyland when they
parking
built that.
lot.
Well, no. It was the trailer park, the little trailer. Whatever. My dad had a trailer, so we take the trailer.
Oh, the little RV park.
The little RV park.
Yeah.
It was called Vacation Land.
Yeah,
Vacation
Vacation
Land.
Land.
And he refused to
Yeah.
sell, and then he died, and that's when Disney finally pulled it up. And
Yeah, my parents used to stay there.
yeah, it was that is so many great memories. That's the first time I played the Tron video game, and just
Aw.
a lot of memories there. And that's why I don't warm up to California Adventure as much. I don't know, just because that was a huge memory growing up. Not that it mattered at all to my experience, but it's just a great memory. Personal traditions. I feel like everybody has their own thing that they do when they go to Disneyland. I'll go do mine first. I don't know if anybody else has one. Every time I go to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, and I up on the bedroom, the parents' bedroom, I throw a quarter on the bed. It's something I've done every time that I've been at Disneyland. Don't know why, but that is like my favorite little tradition at Disneyland.
Except now it's the Tarzan treehouse.
Oh,
They got rid of that years ago, Wendell. I'm sorry.
it's been a long time since I went.
And now it's under refurbishment. You can't even go up there right now.
Oh, that sucks. Well, there goes my tradition. Do you guys have any traditions that are being destroyed by Disney?
One of ours is if we open the park, we like to go to Peter Pan first. Go on that because that line's always ridiculous.
Because that line's always the longest in the park.
Yes, it's except for right now where Haunted Mansion beats it because of the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. But like that Peter Pan's like usually like the first one that we go on. A lot of times we'll close out the park by going on Space Mountain as our last ride.
Nice. And there used to be a restaurant in the French Quarter area that had the first place that I ever had a ham and cheese omelet. And to this day, that's my favorite breakfast. And they had that by far the best ham and cheese omelet I've ever had was at that restaurant in the French
Market.
Yeah, by the French Market.
No, it's called the French Market. That's the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, it's not. It's I don't know if they still even serve that there, but that's another one of those just amazing things that I look forward to when I'm going to Disneyland. Skeeter, you got any traditions?
So yeah, ever since I grew up, my biggest thing was, and getting out of the military, was doing the flag retreat. I make a point. My wife, my son, anybody that we go with knows that when flag retreat starts, if I disappear, you know where I'm at. Like the flag retreat, they have all of the veterans step up to the flagpole. Right there, there's a flower garden around the flag. And as they play your theme song from your service, you step up. And then they come out and do this thing. And one of the old security guards, he's still there, been there for many, many years. His name's Ernie. He was military as well. And he comes out and honors the military. He does the whole flag. They fold it.
I didn't even know about that. That's awesome.
Oh, dude, it's one of the coolest things ever. And you just create these friendships because there's literally guys that come into the park just for that and they leave right after. It's really neat.
Very cool.
I love it.
Christina, you got any traditions?
Well, one of the traditions I used to with my mom, every New Year's Day, we spent at Disneyland when my dad watched football all day. That was, for like 5 years. That's what we did. I have not been at Disneyland since my honeymoon 28 years ago, but we are going for our 30th anniversary, so we will be back. But one of the things that we did was we went like an entire week, and every single day we took a kissy picture in front of Cinderella's or Sleeping Beauty's
Nice.
castle. So we're gonna do that.
Very cool. Now, one of my long-term dreams for this show is to actually have a meetup at Disneyland and or Disney World one of these days. So yeah, if any of my planning people, yeah,
July
that's something that's something I've always wanted to do for the show, because I think that would be just an amazing meetup experience,
We'll
not only
start
for the
saving
cast and
now.
crew, but for some of the for any of the listeners that would like to get on. I think it'd be kind of awesome to do.
See, my anniversary is a year and a half away. This is perfect planning and timing. I think we
Well,
should do it.
Start
There we
saving
go.
now for your 1-day ticket.
Because it's what,
I already bought my
$7,000 now.
tickets, so
How much is the tickets now to Disneyland before
It's
we move on?
154 for a 1-day, one park.
I remember complaining when it was 50.
I think we did a 3-day, both parks, $750 each.
It's best to do the multi-day tickets.
Mhm.
But like if you want to like, you don't necessarily need to do the park hopper,
I
because I
have
don't think
3
you want to
kids.
necessarily jump across.
Yeah,
Like we
no,
did
one park per day.
yeah, we did we did Disneyland essentially twice, and then California Adventure one of the days.
That's the best part. Like I just get the 1-day, one park, or one park, 1 day.
You don't need to pay the extra $60 a day essentially to be able to hop between the parks.
Oh, but we also paid to skip the line. So
the
That's
Max
worth
Pass.
the
that
Max
would be
Pass.
worth the money.
Yep.
Yeah, that and we did all the pass when we had our annual passes. The last one we got before they jumped up to outrageous was we added the Max Pass and all the extras to it, and it made it what it is now. But yeah, I miss our passes. That's for sure. I re-asked my wife to marry me in front of the little princess garden to the left of the castle, where the best picture you can take of the castle is
By the wishing well.
But no, if you go facing the castle to the left,
Oh, that
there's
place.
the,
Okay,
the
yeah.
little wedding garden
Mhm.
to the left, and there's never anybody there, and they always come over and they'll take a picture of you.
Very cool. Okay, so let's jump over to our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
Okay, so for this listener feedback, we asked the people, what is your favorite attraction for Disneyland, Disney World, Disney theme park? Blah, I'm getting really sick of saying that. And you all know I ain't gonna read it. Christina, do you have something to read for us?
I do. So the first one I think is from somebody brand new we haven't read before. That's Karen Giddings Ballard. She said Toy Story Mania at Walt Disney World has been an all-time favorite for myself. I love the quick spins and how interactive it is. I have never been on that one, but I love the teacups for the quick spins. Probably not the same ride, but hey.
Is it like the Toy Story Mania that they have over at California Adventure?
No idea. Probably.
No. Yeah.
And then Danielle Ariana said, okay, favorite Disneyland ride for nostalgic reasons solely is Dumbo. Yes. This movie means a lot to me. So does the ride for all its simplicity. Favorite ride of all time is Pirates of the Caribbean. You're my spirit animal. And no trip to either Disneyland or Disney World is complete without it. And then for Disney World specifically, she absolutely loves the PhilharMagic. The sensory journey through some of the House of Mouse's most iconic movies and music is euphoric. And I have to absolutely agree with her on that. And then Scott Skeen says, having just returned from Disney World, I have to say Rise of the Resistance for the pure geek factor and interactive ride story. One experience I miss is the Indiana Jones live show. It was live and I was pulled from the audience to participate. That may color my favorite towards interactive rides.
Very cool. Thank you everybody for interacting with us. We Yeah, there's a lot we didn't read because but we do appreciate it and keep them coming. It makes our show so much better, as I've said before, but it's true. Okay, so let me ask you guys this one question, then we'll go on to our main event. In the briefest possible way, tell us, what does a day at Disney look like for you? Let's start with John on this one. Make it brief.
Make it brief. It starts with going in Peter Pan, making your way around Fantasyland, then making your way over to Adventureland. Spend a lot of time in Star Wars Land, getting some churros, eat dinner or eat food, throughout the park.
Eat your $7,000 hamburger. Yep.
Ask your son how good they were, though.
Oh, I'm sure. Peter, what's your day look like?
So normal day, we stop and we always take a foot picture. We have a brick at Disneyland in the entrance pavilion. So we stop and we take a picture of our feet around our brick. And then we go into the park at gate 17, always gate 17. And then go in and just typically, if we're going to have breakfast, we'll stop and have breakfast at Carnation. And then just head into Adventureland. I'm a Jungle Cruise freak, but we'll talk about that later. So we hit that whole line of attractions, and then come back around and hit everything else on the way out. Just have a day. Typically, we love to do, if we can, we'll do the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour. It's a little bit expensive, but it's one of the best tours in the park.
Very cool. Christina, what's your day look like?
Well, it absolutely always begins and starts with Pirates of the Caribbean. Everything else we kind of fit in. We always have to stop at the French Quarter and have some fantastic food, but I have to have my Pirates fix.
Nice. Okay, so let's move on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, so for our main event, we said, what is your top 5 Disney attractions of all time? And these, let's be honest, are for the most part not going to be in a particular order, at least for mine. My number 5 is going to be, I don't know if it's the speech with Mr. Lincoln or
Hall of Presidents.
All of Presidents.
All the Presidents.
That is something my dad loved growing up, and it's just one of those just magic moments for me. I loved it. It's just so much fun. And no, you're not doing anything, but it's just, I am immediately 6 years old again watching this every time I watch it. And I cannot imagine a Disney experience that I don't go see that. It's just fun for me. John, what is your number 5?
Indiana Jones. I was actually there.
Really?
Yes, I was there opening weekend. Me and my dad went there as a spur of the moment trip, and luckily it was raining, so it meant everybody was not waiting in line. And so it was really great. We still even have the decoder card that they used to hand out when AT&T was a corporate sponsor. That was it was just so much fun to go through, try and read what the see what the hieroglyphics on the walls were and all that stuff, just going through. And yeah, it's such a good memory for me, just that line. It was one of the first ones that was actually interactive. You had that one bamboo pole that you could pull on, and then the ceiling started to come down. You had the well that you could walk by and pull on the string, and there's a guy supposed to be down there excavating, and you mess with him. It's probably one of my favorite rides. Yeah.
Very good.
Finding out that was Eeyore's parking lot, that was always cool.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Was it?
there's a hidden sign back up in the corner in the theater room
Oh,
where
okay.
Saul is talking, but there's a sign back up in there. My number 5, and like Dub said, no particular order because oh my gosh, if they all don't hold a spot for you, but Star Tours is always a go-to, and like I said, no particular order. Just love
Talk about a ride that has evolved over the years.
Oh yeah. Just
So glad that they did that.
from the entrance queue, being what it was, seeing all the fun that was there all the way through, just getting on the ride and the experience, and then when it started to pick the spy, and it's just awesome. So much fun.
Very good. Christina, you're number 5.
Fantasmic. very similar to PhilharMagic. I remember being 17 years old and standing there and watching this amazing show, and everybody gasping and villains coming to giant size life. It is one of my favorite things because also I'm music driven. So it's this very immersive musical experience.
Fun fact, Dub and I were there during Magic Music Days for the debut. I still have the button from the debut of Fantasmic.
So
I'm sure
was
it is somewhere.
I that weekend.
Yeah, they
Oh
gave
my
them
God,
out as
we
you
were all
walked
there
in.
at the same time. Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You guys were little then.
Junior high.
Junior high school. We were
Was that high school or
juniors.
junior high?
No, it was high school.
Oh,
we were
maybe early
we were
high school?
sophomores.
Yeah, because I was out
Sophomores.
of high school considerably, but that's crazy.
Okay, so my number 4 is a ride that is not there anymore that was replaced by Captain EO and then later Star Tours. And that is Adventure Through Inner Space. You're supposed to go, you're going through an atom basically, they shrink you down.
Magnification.
And I was 6 years old when I first went on it, and they had that little tube, and it's like Barbie dolls or something that it looks like everything shrinks down. And I thought that you actually shrunk down on the ride. So I was like, when do we get shrunk back up? What's going on? And it was just such a fun memory. I enjoyed the heck out of that as a kid, and honestly probably got my kickstart for my love of sci-fi is from that. Is just because it was so. I wish they had more stuff that's educational like that, because you freaking learned on that ride without ever being pushed on you. Of course, I mean, Star Tours and Captain EO. I mean, yeah, that they probably made the better choice. Let's be honest, but I wish they could bring that back in some way or the other. John, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the California Screaming, now called the Incredicoaster. It's probably one of my favorite like roller coasters to go on to, just like because it's so smooth. It doesn't feel like you're gonna fall off the track ever. It's such a fun ride. Like I remember even like for a while there, they had a Red Hot Chili Peppers playing on it. Like they did that for a little while, and that was like so much fun. It really added
roller
to
coaster.
No, it was
just that beach theme.
It was like that California song or whatever. I think it was like it was.
Neil Patrick Harris was the voice at the beginning when you first came through the tunnel, like to get in line. It was all sit down, hold on, and have whatever he said.
Yeah,
that was Neil Patrick Harris's voice. I was like, wait, what? That's cool.
Nice. Skeeter, what is your number 4, sir?
Number 4, for me, I'm switching things up, but the Grand Circle Tour on the train, there's nothing like just middle of the day. The lines are outrageous. And if you get there early enough in the park, you can go into the depot, see one of the conductors, and sign up to ride in the Lily Bell, which is Walt's wife's actual car that he had specifically made for her. And it's one of the coolest things because you get in there with a cast member, with a conductor, and you go around the entire park and you just get this huge history lesson. And I freaking love it. It's amazing.
That's very cool. Christina, what's your number 4?
Okay, let me start by saying I like what I like.
I know where
it's a
this is
small
going.
world.
Oh,
yeah.
I love It's a Small World. I don't know why. It just delights me.
It's a torture device to the military.
Yeah, funny story. When Sean went to Disney World when he was younger, he got stuck in the ride and it broke. So when we went on our
with the person hanging,
and when we went on our honeymoon, I begged him. I had to beg him, please let me go on. It's a small world. And he was like, I don't want to get stuck in the ride. I was like, I've never been stuck in the ride. We got stuck in the ride. And I didn't help it because I am just gleefully singing the song over and over and over again. It's a world of love. I mean, hey, I don't know why. I love Small World.
You gotta do the hula dance.
Yeah, if you look far enough back, I think it was before we were even doing video. I think if you listen to our audio archives, we did a Dark Side of Disney episode, and we talked about the people that allegedly hung themselves on It's a Small World. I'm like, I can't get past that every time anybody mentions Small World. They just imagine the little small person swinging and terrible.
It's the happiest cruise that ever sailed around the world.
And it takes the happy hat. It's not a very small world at that point. I'm just saying. Okay, so number 3, I'm going to be switching around a little bit. I'm going to do a double, and it's the monorail, which I know is not a ride. So with that being said, I'm actually going to say, I don't even know what it's called, but when you go from the Matterhorn all the way across the park in the little
People
Oh,
mover.
Is
no,
that the
the Sky
People
Cabin. No, it's the Sky
Cabin.
Cabin.
Oh,
Sky
Sky
Cabin.
Sky Cabins.
I love that still to this day. It's a chance to rest, and you're getting to the other side of the park, and it's just, I don't know why I love it so much, but I really do. I love looking at people, and yeah, don't be one of those jerks that spits out of it, because you're not my friend if you ever do.
My great uncle proposed to my great aunt on that ride. He basically said, "Marry me or I'm pushing you out." And she yelled at him, and she said, "You get down on when we get off this ride, you get down on one knee and propose to me like a gentleman."
Wow. Wow,
Oh,
that
the
happy story just went
Skyway.
so dark so
It's a
fast.
good
The
thing they
Skyway.
weren't on a Small World.
Well, I remember like when they took out the Skyway, and you just still had like the depots there until they
Mhm.
finally like tore them out and got rid of them, but you still had the remnants of the ride still there.
That
Yeah.
sounds so sad.
And then it just gave it much strength to hang Dumbo and the Up House and everything else that flies across the stinking fireworks show now at night.
Yeah.
Buzz
Nice.
Lightyear, everybody else.
Tinkerbell.
Okay. John, what is your number 3, sir?
My number 3 is Space Mountain. I love that ride. It's such a fun ride. Every time we go, we have to go on it at least once. You know, it's such a great ride to go
Even
on.
being tall, it doesn't freak you out? Because I know those
It
beams
used
are
to.
really freaking close.
It used to freak me out, but when you realize that they're actually not that close to you, like
Don't lift
if
your
I-
arms.
no, I can put my arms all the way up and I don't hit anything. So it
And
makes
that's
it
an
feel like
urban
Right.
legend.
yeah,
I
I've
still
seen
buy
the
it. I ain't gonna do it.
you see the videos, like they have it online where it's like
Yeah.
you can go on it with the line, like the lights on. So it's not as bad, but they did a good job of making it feel like it is super close.
For
But
sure.
it's still like, I love all the different variations that they used to do. Like at Halloween, they used to have like this like space ghost that would chase you around. They changed
Yep.
the music. I miss them
Ghost
having like
Galaxy.
yeah, I miss them having the Dick Dale like music, like the surfer music. They don't have it
Surfer.
anymore. It was great. It was like the best part was just like having all that stuff going on.
Wasn't it Aerosmith at one time too?
I didn't
I
want
don't
to
know
miss
if
a
it was
thing about it.
Aerosmith. I just remember it was the same time that they had Chili Peppers on California Adventure
Yeah.
playing Credit Coaster. It was I forget what the band was that they had at that point.
Very cool. Skeeter, what is your number 3?
So number 3 is are we at 3 or are we still at 4? I don't
We're
remember.
at 3.
Okay. Anyways, my number 3 is Big Thunder.
Such a fun ride.
I mean, doing
Well,
Big
this
Thunder
ride in the wilderness.
Yeah, it switched up when I don't know, it was probably about 8 years ago. We went on it and we heard some guy say, "Do the goat thing." And we were like, "What's the goat thing?" Well, when you get to the top of one of the hills, there's a goat with a dynamite in his mouth, and you look at that goat and don't look away from that goat. You watch him all the way down, and when the ride comes down the hill, it cuts a turn, and you're looking at it the whole way around, and basically the G-forces make you feel like you're coming out of the car. It's amazing. So you'll see the whole train do it from time to time, and it's just awesome. So
I've never heard of that. Did you? I went on it once, 2 times in a day, and then and that's when I realized depends on which fork you get in the line. It's 2 different. It's more than one track.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm like, John didn't
What?
know this.
No, it's not more than one track.
it's only one track.
It's only one track. No, no. It's not
rides.
two
You
rides.
come out
telling
and
ya.
you go like this. That's why they do the switch, because they both come into one track.
It's not more than one track.
You can't convince me otherwise. Christina, what is your number?
My number 3, the Haunted Mansion, every single time. It used to scare the daylights out of my mother. And I think I told this story before, but it's too good not to tell it again. The first time we went on it, she had no idea what it was like. I told her it was a historical tour, and she had no idea, and she peed on the ride. And
What is the code? There's a
bless her.
code for that at Disneyland too.
It's code brown, I think. Anytime like there's like a soiling,
Yeah,
whether it's pee or poop, it's code brown.
yeah, code brown, the code V, the code. Yeah,
But she was always delightful, so it will always have nostalgia.
I love the pictures. That's my favorite part. I don't like most of Haunted Mansion, but I love the pictures when you're in the elevator.
The
and it's
haunted
like-
room actually stretching.
Yes, I've always loved that. I don't like the rest of that ride, to be honest. Not because it scares me, just because it's just never been my cup of tea.
Oh, see, I love the ballroom.
I love that they brought back the Hat Ghost or the Hat Box Ghost. That one's pretty cool. And then if you wait, there's another way to get in. You don't have to do the elevator, but there's a back door that you can walk through to get to the hallway. Next time you go, John, ask to go in the back door, and they'll actually take you through that way. You can get a death certificate. Actually ask for a death certificate, they'll give you one. And if you slowly walk off the elevator at the end of the stretching room and look back at the cast member, they're like following and shooing you out with this like ominous look in their eye. It's really cool. Like every time Griff and I go, we always look back at the cast member and try to be the last ones off. So they kind of give us this mean, it's kind of eerie.
Fair enough. What are we on? Number
2.
Okay, number 2 is Soaring California. I've never been on Soaring World, but I thought, I mean, again, it's one of those rides you get on to kind of rest your feet a little bit and kind of, just kind of chill out for a few minutes. But that is just a really fun ride when they have the smells of wherever you're going through, and you're just glad you don't go through Jersey or something because you don't want that smell on you. That was for you. Y'all know who that was for. Don't want to go through Jersey. Don't want to smell of toxic waste and Jersey. But that is just a fun little ride. I enjoy it. I love y'all. I'm gonna pass this off before I get in any more trouble. John, what's your number 2?
Rise of the Resistance. I know I'm going like new school on this, but like it really is like their best ride that they've done. It does suck that it's like you can only ride it once in the day because they have the virtual queue thing where you don't actually wait in line, but I know it's because they don't want it to be like people waiting in line for 5 hours, because that's what would happen. But it's such a cool experience because you really are like it's like a couple of different rides inside just one ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the fact that they allow like the employees to be jerks, like because like you're rebel scum or resistant scum. Although we were on it one time about to get on when it broke down, and they went from being like rebel scum to this way, please. If you go to the nearest cast member, they will get you this special pass that allow you back on the ride when we get it back up and running. But they literally like flipped a switch once it like broke down.
Well,
but
you
it,
have to. I mean, that's
no, but it like. Well, it didn't go like this way, rebel scum. You can get a pass again. Like they went to like, right, okay, we're like we're Disney employees now. We're no longer first order officers.
Nice. Skeeter, what's your number 2?
Number 2, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Because this was one of those that was one of Walt's passions. It was one of the first ones. I got to go into the Tiki Room off scene with just a few people, and we actually got to hold and see one of the flowers, the original flowers, and heard the story about how Walt wanted to make this a restaurant, but the thought of having birds sitting over you while you were eating and chirping was not good because you just had that weird feeling. So just one of my favorites. It's been there forever.
Have a Dole Whip. Yep.
Have a Dole Whip, stand in line, finish your Dole Whip before you go in, take a nap. It's just awesome. Awesome.
Christina, what's your number 2?
So originally it was going to be Captain EO, but I really thought about it last night, and it is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah.
I
the only ride at Disneyland.
I absolutely freaking love Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I think it's because I was watching Mr. Toad, I was watching the animated yesterday, and I was like, how did I forget that ride? I love that ride. Like, my kids love that ride. My sisters love that. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of the first times that they were a little off book with the ride. And so I think that that's what I liked about it too, is it was, for being in the 80s, like when I went to it for the first time, it was a little bit edgy compared to most of Disneyland at that point.
Very
So
cool. Okay, and on to our number ones. My number one is also something that is no longer there, at least in the incarnation that I fell in love with, and that is Bear Country. I love the show. I love the rib place in there. I loved everything about it, and I love that there was a banjo playing bear. If you know me in real life, you know my real name, and they have a banjo playing bear named Wendell, and me and my dad always loved that growing up. But that was just such a cool
I
thing.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now it's Pooh Corner now. It's
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
yeah. No.
It's Pooh.
It's
It's
Pooh.
Pooh.
It's Pooh now.
It's called
Pooh.
Brown Corner.
Do they still have that wonderful rib place there?
No, it's a burger joint.
I'm done. Okay, John, what's your number one? Now that I'm never going to Disneyland again. I'm just kidding.
My number one is the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
That was Tower of Terror, right?
That was Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And that was fun when it was Tower of Terror, but they made it so much better when they made it the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, because it's not just like 2 drops and you're done. They have like the music. You go up and down several times. They did a thing this year for Halloween called was it Monsters After Dark, where you're trying to help Rocket Raccoon save Groot. And it's even more intense, and the music's no longer just like the normal crap from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's metal, like speed metal. Like, it's great. Like, it was really fun. Me and Katie went on it this last Tuesday when we went, and it's, I guess they only do it at like Halloween time, but it's like after like at 3:00 they open it back up, and it's that ride, and it's so great.
Nice. Skeeter, what's your number one?
The number one
Sorry.
is Jungle Cruise. I am
So
a
much
Jungle
fun.
Cruise freak.
I even like the movie. I'm not ashamed to admit
We
it.
went to the movie. We rushed to the movie. We didn't just go to the movie. And at the very beginning of the movie, spoilers, I'm just telling you, when Dwayne Johnson's character is doing his jungle tour, and they set up the rush of water down these pipes and tubes and all these things, and they go, and it's the backside of water. Like, I cried. I literally started to tear
puns because it pulled over. Oh,
the spiel is the spiel. You don't get to go away from it. You don't get to make it your own. However, you can speak it in any of the ones there are. There's so many charted ones. One of my other favorite podcasts is the Jungle Cruise, CREWS. Amazing that stories that those guys tell from past skippers that was always my dream.
Well, did you ever have the guy named Maynard as your skipper?
Maynard he's the staple at Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, and at Tiki Room. I love Maynard.
He was one of the few that I ever went on that he could deviate. Like, they for a while they let him deviate from like the jokes. Like, he would say some of the ones that were the normal ones, but then like he would just be like this. He would do like his own like ad libs or whatever. Like, he was probably like we would go on Jungle Cruise and specifically ask for Maynard.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Maynard's been around for a long, long time, and they allow him to get away with more. He does a lot of voiceovers and like scary like commercials and TV, like in real life too. So he's an awesome guy.
Do they still do the excitement? Oh, what a thrill.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that used to make me giggle uncontrollably.
Yeah.
Christina, what's your number one?
Always Pirates of the Caribbean.
Until they took out that's one that pisses me off, that they took out the pirates chasing the women and the woman chasing the pirate. They took that out, and
Well, they also
Me
changed
off
it to where
a
it's
lot.
no longer
Too
to
much
buy a
Jack.
bride. They changed out the
they're
buy
not
a
buying
bride.
a bride.
It's
She's
the-
actually a captain now.
Yeah, the redheaded wench is no longer a redheaded wench. She's a captain saying, they don't want a chicken, they want the rum.
That's it. We don't get political on the show, but I think that's stupid. Sorry. Forgive me. Go ahead. Continue with you with it.
No, I'm done.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No,
I
I'm
didn't
just
mean
kidding.
to.
No, and again, keep in mind, I haven't been on it for a very long time, but for me, it held that special place. It was one of those rides I went on with my mom. It was one of those rides I sat in the back of my honeymoon and made out in the back. I mean, let's just, I love pirates.
Don't
a
get
very
caught with your
distinct-
hand in the water. They
Yeah.
will catch you with your hand in the water.
It has a very distinct smell of the water on that ride. Like you get
Oh,
anywhere
I'm
you
getting
like,
the candle. I'm getting the candle.
They have a candle?
The candles. Oh yes.
You're
oh my
kidding.
gosh, I
That
need to get that
swampy
candle.
smell?
I was literally just
Mhm.
talking
That
to my
swampy
family about
smell.
that smell. Like they need to make a candle out of it.
They have the candles. You can buy
That's
any
so
scent
crazy.
from Disneyland in a candle now. They have them.
Wow. Skeeter,
Yep.
put the link up on this. When we
Yes.
put this up on Facebook. Definitely
Link
put the
it.
link up.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Wow, that was a show. Thank you guys. This is fun. I
This
want to go
is
to Disneyland
fun.
now. Yeah, go to all our social medias. Go to www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the code. We paid extra for it. Buy a shirt. Go to the store. Go to our Patreon. Get extra content. Yeah, stickers and stuff and everything. And con people, we got some con stuff coming up that we're going to be announcing very soon. Skeeter, do you have something you want to announce real quick?
So just one thing, if I can add one thing to this, when you go to Disneyland or wherever you go, look up. We spend so much time looking down. Look up. There's so much that you miss when you just keep your eyes straight ahead. Look up and look for those things that you miss. There's all kinds of hidden stuff at Disney.
There's always hidden Mickeys throughout the park.
And that is a heck of a sign off. Keep on geeking on. Keep looking up. Look for Mickey everywhere. See y'all next week.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.